If you would like to win a Force FX lightsaber, all you have to do is like this video, subscribe, turn notifications on, and tell me in the comments what your favorite lightsaber is. Ever since it was announced that Lucasfilm was developing an Obi-Wan standalone film that is set to take place after the rise of the Empire and during his exile on Tatooine protecting a young Luke Skywalker, fans have speculated about who the villain of the film should be, with the popular answer being the failed Sith apprentice, Darth Maul. Before we continue with the video and explain why this can't work, I do want to point out that there will be spoilers for both Solo as well as Star Wars Rebels in the following. With that said, you've been warned, and now let's continue. With Maul's heavily discussed cameo in the Solo film, fans have been extremely excited about seeing him again on the big screen. Because of this, speculation has arisen that this is a tease that Maul will be the main antagonist in a Kenobi movie and will hunt down Obi-Wan in the film, and that this will be the basis for the plot. According to speculation, the plot will revolve around Maul hunting Obi-Wan on Tatooine and eventually finding him in the finale. Unfortunately though, this would not work out continuity-wise, as we actually got to see the final confrontation with Maul and Kenobi in the form of Star Wars Rebels. In Rebels, their final battle took place around 1 year before the events of A New Hope. Based off of an exchange from Maul and what we see in Rebels, Maul doesn't find the location of Obi-Wan until later in the timeline, and the story in which he does so is heavily involved with the Rebels characters. Characters such as Kanan and Ezra who have not been established in film. In fact, Ezra is even present just before Kenobi and Maul duel. In order for Maul's return to make sense in a Kenobi film, they would have to do away with all of this and also break canon as a result. In Rebels, we hear how surprised Maul is to see Kenobi on Tatooine and what he has become in Rebels, as he states that he is festering in squalor and is surprised to find a Jedi Master on a desert world. Based off of comments that Maul makes to Kenobi in Rebels, he has not seen him before this point. Thus, having Maul pursuing Obi-Wan in the continuity of the Star Wars universe in a Kenobi film would make zero sense. What some have suggested is that Obi-Wan could leave Tatooine at some point during his film and encounter Maul, but again, this would make little sense. Maul has several lines in Rebels which again takes place years after Solo that indicate that he has seen no sign of Obi-Wan since the Clone Wars. He also says in Rebels at one point that he isn't even sure if Obi-Wan is alive and if he survived the Jedi Purge. This tells us specifically that he has not seen Kenobi since the Clone Wars. However, Maul very well could appear in a Kenobi film as the Empire hunts Obi-Wan, but only as a cameo. Continuity-wise, Maul could never return as the main antagonist of this story, as it has already been told, as it was told to us again in Rebels. However, I do think that a cameo from the former Sith Lord could be very interesting, as the main antagonist seeks out Maul to learn more about Kenobi. I feel like this would give fans what they want, as well as motivate them to go watch Rebels and see the true conclusion of Maul's story. As far as adapting his ending for Rebels for the big screen, they would have to first establish the character of Ezra and his quest, which would make little sense, not to mention that the confrontation in Rebels is extremely short. I feel like the platform in which they did the Obi-Wan vs. Maul final fight made a lot of sense, and it would not work well on the big screen. As far as another main villain for the Solo film, I suggest that Kenobi has to face another Jedi who has survived Order 66. However, a Jedi that has somewhat lost their grip on reality and is suffering from severe PTSD. PTSD that has resulted after he's been hunted by the clone troopers who he fought beside, and now has fled to Tatooine himself. This could make for both a layered and sympathetic villain, while also posing a real legitimate threat to Obi-Wan. This has always been a concept that has interested me, as well as has basis in the EU, as Obi-Wan dueled the fallen Order 66 survivor Asherad Het in order to protect Luke in the comics. However, these are just some of my thoughts behind what we know from continuity, and explain exactly why Maul cannot play the role of a main villain in a Kenobi film. But leave your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and do you think that Lucasfilm could manipulate continuity to make it make sense for Maul to be the main antagonist? Don't get me wrong, I would absolutely love Maul to be the main villain of a Kenobi film. However, I do not think they will breach canon in order to do so. I do think that Maul will return, and I hope that one day he will be the main antagonist of another Star Wars story, simply not meant for the Kenobi film, however. Again, don't forget to enter the lightsaber giveaway as that still continues. Thank you so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.